Welcome to Lesson 5 of BL-101 New Testament Greek for Beginners. In this video, we're going to pick up at paragraph 59 of Lesson 5, going through Roman numeral 1, the Greek to English translations, as well as Roman numeral 2, the English to Greek exercises. If you have not completed your homework from the previous lesson, please stop the video now. You must have all homework completed because this lab is a detailed review of that assignment. If you need help with understanding the first declension noun and its various elements, feel free to watch the previous videos as often as necessary. Or if you need further help, don't hesitate to contact me directly. I am online most of the time, and if I'm able to, I'll be more than glad to assist you in your studies. Now, let's get on with the lab. Okay, Roman numeral 1, Greek to English, starting off with number 1. Suke, blepe, zoin. Well, suke, a soul. Blepe, oase, that's a third person singular, so we'll put down it sees, and then zoin, that's the accusative singular, a life. Okay? How about number 2? Basileia, genoske, aletheon. Well, Basileia is a kingdom. Okay. Genoske, it knows, third person singular, oase a. So we have it knows, aletheon, truth, because aletheon is the accusative singular. Do you see it? Right there. Okay. Number 3. Anthropos, graphe, entolos, kai, namus. Well, anthropos, that is a man, nominative singular. Graphe, he writes, or he is writing. Entolos and namus are both accusative, but they're accusative plurals. So we have you see that? Number 3. A man, he writes commandments and laws. Number 4. Apostoloi, lambanusi, doulos, kai, dora, kai, ekklesias. So number 4 would be apostles. Okay. Lambanusi would be they take. Doulos is servants. Kai, dora, gifts. Kai, ekklesias. They are all accusative plurals. So we have servants and gifts and churches. Okay? Let's see. Apostles, they take servants and gifts and churches. Notice the accent goes all the way back. We see that in apostoloi. That's because the final omicron iota is short. Paragraph 10 points that out. And number 4. That, even though it's a diphthong, it's the omicron iota, final omicron iota. That means it's short, allowing the accent to go all the way back to the antepenal. Okay? Number 5, apostoloi. There, same word as number 4, so that would be apostles. Kai ecclesia, ecclesiae, so that would be and churches. Blepusi, they see. Okay, then we have zoane kai thanaton, so it would be life and death. Both of those are accusative singulars, so it would be number 5, apostles and churches, they see life and death. Number 6, huios doulou. That would be a nominative right here, and doulou is a genitive singular, so this would be a son of a slave or servant, either or. Then we have legay. He says parabolane ecclesia. Well, parabolane is the accusative singular, the parable. In ecclesia, the giveaway here, I'm sure you guys caught it, iota subscript. So it's a dative singular. So that would be 2 or 4 a church. Okay? A son of a slave, he says a parable to or for a church. Okay? Number 7. A little bit tricky here. Machen's trying to throw us off. I'm sure you caught it. That right there is an accusative singular. So that's not the nominative. Well, where's the nominative? I'm looking here in number 7. I do not see a nominative anywhere. Do you? No. Where the nominative, where the subject of the sentence is embedded in the verb. So we'd say, we say, legamen, parabolane, a parable, kai, and entolane, a commandment, and kai naman, a law. Oops. A law. Okay? So, parabolane, legamen, kai, entolane, kai, naman. We say a parable and a commandment and a law. Basileas, kai, or basileas, genoskete, kai, ecclesias. Once again, we have this conundrum. No nominative. You see that? That basileas is an accusative plural. So is that ecclesias over here. So big kingdoms and churches. The verb has a subject embedded in it. So that ete, genoskete, that is a second person plural. Do you see that? Genoskete. That is, ye know kingdoms and churches. Okay? How about number 9? Well, let's take a look at it here. Ecclesion, That right there is an accusative singular. There's our verb, didaske. Here's our nominative, apostolos. But we have another nominative singular. Do you see that? Right there. Now we could say an apostle, kai, doulos, and a servant, but we have a problem with the verb. Take a look at the verb. What is that? That is a third person singular. Now if we said an apostle and a servant, he teaches, that doesn't make sense. So how about this? We have, notice this, an accusative singular, a kai, and an accusative singular. But we also have two nominatives, one right there and one right there. So actually what we have are two sets of phrases. Each set has a nominative singular and an accusative singular. So how would I translate this? I would translate it this way. An apostle, he teaches, a church, and a servant. We don't have a verb, so it's an implied verb. This is how I show an implied verb. A kingdom. Now let's look at our sentence. An apostle, he teaches a church, and a servant, a kingdom. Now, more than a few times I've seen sentences like this with implied verbs in the Greek New Testament and the translations. This is something that pops up repeatedly. So this is how I would translate it here. It's a little bit challenging for a first-year Greek student, but it gets you to stretch your brain a little bit. I picked it up, not at first, but I did. I tried to translate it out until I noticed that didaske was a third person singular, so I knew that an apostle and a servant, that didn't fit out right. So logic says here that would be an apostle, he teaches a church, and a servant, a kingdom, or a servant, he teaches a kingdom, with an implied verb. Bit of a challenge. I hope you got it right. I hope you caught it. That's not an easy one. How about number 10? We'll take a look at number 10 here. We have naman kai parabolein, graphe anthropos ecclesia. Well, we have our nominative singular. We have a dative, to or for a church. So we have anthropos, a man, to or for a church, he writes. Or we could say a man, he writes. What does he write? A law and a parable to or for a church. Okay? Let's see. I did my homework ahead of time, so I'm looking on my notes to verify it all. It's a man, he writes a law and a parable to or for a church. Yes, that's good. It's very important to take careful note of the case endings of these words. The word anthropos is the nominative, while naman and parabolane are accusatives. This has the potential of messing up people if they're not careful. So with the English language, we're used to having the subject at the beginning of the sentence. Greek's not that way. Greek can have it shuffled around. Matter of fact, if I looked at this, I would say a law and a parable was more important than a man in relationship to the sentence. So they're emphasizing, the writer here is emphasizing a law and a parable. He writes, a man is writing a law and a parable to a church. Okay? How about number 11? Well, let's take a look here. Cardii. Okay? That right there is a nominative plural. Then we have a genitive plural, own. Okay? Then we have the verb ekousi. Well, we all know ousi, third person plural of I have, so they have. Okay? I would translate this hearts of men. Okay? They have. Life and peace. And Zoe, Kai, Irene, both of those nouns are accusatives. So we have life and peace. Okay? How are you doing so far? Are you catching them? Are you following along? Feel free to rewind the video if you're finding this a bit of a challenge. That's the benefit of having your Greek classes on video. I was not able to rewind Mr. Davis when I took first year Greek, but that's okay. Okay, now we have here number 12, phone, apostolon, didaske, psukas, doulon. We have, notice, phone is a nominative singular. So it's a voice, but apostolon is a genitive plural. Okay, so it'd be a voice of apostles. Now here's a really oddity. Didaske. That is a third person singular. But apostles is plural. Yes, it is. But notice, the nominative, that is singular. So, what this tells me here, just this, well, how about we finish the translation? We have psukas doulon. That psukas doulon would be souls of servants. Okay? Psukas, accusative plural, doulon, genitive plural. Okay? But what this tells me here, going back here, that the phone, I'm shifting a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't mean to do that. Phone is a unified voice, a voice of apostles. This passage here, this Greek translation, would tell me as I translate it that it's a unified voice and they are teaching as one voice, a voice of apostles. It teaches souls of men. Okay? Did you catch that? Let's see number 13. Hora eke dagzan. Well, that's a simple one. We have hora. Okay, that is an hour. ek, oasa, third person singular. It has dagzan. That is a singular accusative. So that would be glory. Okay? Number 14. We have phonai, ekklesion, didaskousi, basileus, kai, anthropous. So let's take a look here. How do we translate this out? Well, phonai, that is a plural, nominative plural. So we would say voices, ekklesion, of churches, didaskousi, that is a third person plural of didasko, so we'd say they teach, basileus, kai, anthropous. Well, both of those are plurals, they're accusative plurals, so it'd say kingdoms and men. Okay? Now, notice how the circumflex, take a look at this. This is interesting here. Notice the circumflex here falls on the ultima. Well, we know that the nominative singular of ekklesia, we know that the accent would fall on the penal. But because ekklesia is a first declension noun, do you remember paragraph 51? Let me read it off to you. Paragraph 51 says, the genitive plural shows, on exception to the rule of noun accent. The rule of noun accent would require the accent to remain on the same syllable as in the noun accent, the nominative singular. Well, that's general rules of noun accenting. But nouns of the first declension have a circumflex on the ultima in the genitive plural, no matter where the accent was in the noun singular. So, you can thank paragraph 51, and I hope you highlighted it really good, you studied it out. First declension nouns in the genitive plural, the circumflex always goes above the ultima. Do you see that? So it'd be voices of churches, they teach kingdoms and men. Okay? Number 15. 15. Don't be confused here. We have Dora, Kai, Dagzan. Okay? Well, we know that Dora is gifts. It could also be a nominative plural. We know that. But you know why I know it's not the nominative? Because we have blepes, and we have a kai. So, logic's telling me here that Dora is an accusative plural. Okay? So this would be translated out, blepes, o-ace, a, so it'd be thou seest. My spell checker does not like King James. Gifts and glory. You see that? Bit of a challenge. Shouldn't be too bad. If you thought, well, that could possibly be a nominative plural, then this blepes would be a plural as well, but it's not, it's a singular. So we migrate that back, and that makes sense with the kai, the copulative kai there. So we have gifts and glory. Okay? Good. Number 16. Let's take a look at number 16. We have, grab my cursor there, Graphe, Ecclesia, Logon, Zoes. Well, Graphe, Oase A, that's a third person singular. He writes. I don't see any nominatives here. I know Logon comes from Logos, so that Logon is not a neuter nominative singular. It's an accusative singular, masculine. So we have here, he writes to a church a word, then Zoes, of life. So he writes, and it's, you can say 2 or 4. There. Okay. Try number 17. Lege, cardiais, anthropone, parabolane kai naman. Well, let's see. We have number 17 here. Cardiais. What do you think that is? That's a dative plural. Okay? And this tells us it is a genitive plural. Do you see that? Then parabolane kai lagan. So it says a parable and a law. Well, we can say he says 2 or 4 hearts of men, a parable and a law. How'd I do? Yep, I got that. Could this be translated as hearts of apostles, say a parable to a law? No. Hearts would need to be a nominative, which it is not. It's a dative. And graphe would have to be graphamen, of which it is not. Okay? So, number 17. Last but not least, let's take a look at number 18. What we have here is graphe ecclesia huios apostolou. Well, that stands out as our nominative. Huios, a son. Apostolou, a son of an apostle. He writes to a church. 2 or 4 a church. How do I know it's a dative? Well, of course we know that's a dative. There's a unit subscript there. Dative singular. So it'd say a son of an apostle. He writes, oops, there we go, 2 or 4 a church. How'd you do so far? Tally them up. You can get a percentage off of that. You can see how well you're doing. These are not easy exercises. They're designed to be tough. So don't feel too bad. I know when I haven't translated these in a long time. Every once in a while I caught myself flubbing up. That's okay. It's a learning experience. It's a learning experience for us to stretch our brains around this first declension noun. So let's go on. Here we have Roman numeral 2, English to Greek. Now, if you thought my English typing was slow, my Greek typing is even slower. So, to your benefit, I have placed all my answers here ahead of time. We'll just go over the answers real quick here, okay? Number 1, a kingdom takes glory. Well, kingdom, that is a nominative singular, basileia. It takes, so that's a third person singular, lambane, glory, dagzan. Number 2, churches are saying parables to hearts of men. Well, churches, that's a nominative plural, so it would be ecclesiae. They are saying, that would be legusi, see the third person plural. They are saying parables to hearts of men. Well, parabolos is your accusative plural. To hearts, here's your dative plural. And then we have of men, your genitive plural. Ecclesiae, legusi, parabolos, cardiais, anthropon. Number 3, a heart of a man is teaching an apostle, and a voice of an apostle is teaching a servant. So we'll break these up into 2 parts and just focus on one part at a time. A heart of a man, so we have a heart is a nominative singular, of a man is a genitive singular, so we have the cardiai, anthropo. It is teaching, because the verb has to agree with the nominative in number, so be it is teaching, didaske, an apostle. Well, that right there is our accusative singular, apostolon. Now we have our conjunction kai right here. Now we have our second phrase, a voice of an apostle is teaching a servant. We have kai phone apostolou, a voice of an apostle, didaske, it is teaching, doulan, a servant. Number 4, we have writings of apostles. Well, we have writings, so be ek amen, first person plural. We have writings, that is graphos, that right there is an accusative plural. Apostolon, of apostles, a genitive plural. Okay? Ek amen, graphos, apostolon. Number 5, churches have peace and glory. Well, our churches are nominative plural, ecclesiae. Okay? That would be they have, so this would be a third person plural, ekousi, from echo, o-a-s-a, amen, eta, usi, good, so it would be ekousi. Then peace and glory. These are both accusative singulars, so we have ereinen, kai, dagzan, accusative plurals. Okay? How you doing so far? Onward to number 6. Number 6 reads, a day sees life and death. Well, hemera, a day, that is a nominative singular. We have blepe, that is a third person singular. It sees, so a day, it sees life and death. Zoane kai thanaton. Okay? Number 7. Apostles take temples and kingdoms. Okay, well, let's tackle it one step at a time. Apostles, that would be the nominative plural. And we have apostoloi. Okay? Once again, apostoloi, that omicron iota, even though it's a diphthong, it's short. That allows the accent to go all the way back to the antiphonal. So it's apostoloi. Then we have here lambanusi. This would be a third person plural. Why? Well, because apostles, that's a plural. So it would be they take, apostles, they take temples and kingdoms. We have Hi'era, temples, Kai, basileas. Okay? Keep in mind, Hi'era comes from Hi'eran, and that is a neuter. So this would be a neuter declension. Okay, so it would be Hi'era. That is accusative plural. Okay? Kai, basileas, and kingdoms. Number 8. We see houses and temples and churches. Well, the we see is a blepamen, first person plural. We see houses, that's oikos, accusative plural. And temples, Hi'era, accusative plural. And Kai, churches, ekklesias. Okay? Number 9. A servant says a parable to hearts of men. Well, a servant, that's a nominative singular from doulos, which is doulos. Okay. He says, so that's a third person singular. Legay, a parable. Parabolane, a parable, that's accusative singular. So parabolane, to hearts of men. Well, that two is a key word for a dative, so it would be cardiais, anthropon. Okay? Because cardiais is a dative plural, to hearts of men. Doulos, legay, parabolane, cardiais, anthropon. Number 10. We know voices of churches and words of truth. Well, we know is from gnosko, but it's a first person plural, gnoskamen. We know voices of churches. So the word voices is the accusative plural. That's why we have here phonos. Of churches, well, that key word of is a genitive plural. So we have ekklesion, genitive plural. Because it's a first declension noun, circumflex always goes above the ultima. Okay? And Kai, words, that would be logos, accusative plural, of logos, of truth, athaleos. Okay? Right there. Genitive singular. Last but not least, number 11. A voice of an apostle says a parable to souls of men. Well, we have a voice, phone apostolou, a voice of an apostle. Legay, that's a singular because that voice is a singular, so it would be legay, oasa, says parabolane, a parable to souls of men. Once again, key word of a dative, 2 or 4. So you have psukais, anthropon. Dative plural, genitive plural. Okay? Feel free to rewind this video if you're trying to comprehend what we went over here, or if that's not working, drop me a line. Be glad to hear from you. I'm always glad to help out whenever I can. So please drop me an email if you have any questions or comments. I'll be glad to respond as soon as possible. Anyway, thank you for your time. I hope you did well. That completes lesson 5 of our studies in Machen. Next lesson will be vocabulary list of lesson 6, and we'll go over them next time. Thank you for your time.